I'm going to make this a quick one. So, rumor right now is the Montreal Canadiens are in the market for a top four defenseman so they can send Sergachev back to OHL. Montreal, being off to a great start, is fine, but top four defensemen aren't available pretty much ever. Now, the one name that comes to mind is Jacob Trouba. The problem is, if Montreal is going to get Trouba, I don't know where the asking price starts because Markov's too old, Emelin's too old. Obviously, they're not trading Weber. Petrie doesn't get it done. Beaulieu, maybe. But then you got to throw in a first, which where Montreal stands right now looks perfectly fine. And I think it would take something else too. So I don't know what Montreal is going to do, but they're in a good position to do it. I don't think Sergachev's going to stick around. I think they're going to send him back to the OHL after his 9 games. I don't know that they have anybody in the minors who's necessarily capable of stepping in and producing every night, either as an offensive defenseman or stepping in as a defensive defenseman who's not going to cost them something. I honestly think the smartest move Montreal could make would be to look more for a top 6, so a 5th, 6th defenseman. There's those guys are available in certain places around the NHL, certainly. I would think that maybe if Vancouver doesn't want Trampkin, maybe Trampkin can go to Montreal for an offensive prospect. I mean, if Vancouver doesn't want to risk losing to the KHL, and he's saying, look, I'm not going to the American Hockey League, maybe Montreal works. Montreal definitely has a Russian vibe to the team between Markov, Galchenyuk, and Radulov, and he could fit in there. And he's a big defenseman. He's a big physical defenseman. So, just thinking off the top of my head, that's something that could work. But I think if they're going to stick to their guns, if we want a top 4 so we can send Sergachev down, welcome to the NHL, Sergachev, because he's not going anywhere. Your opinions are welcome in the comments. This doesn't really have to be a very long video because it's just a rumor at this point. But I would think that if they stick to their guns, we want a top 4, there's none available. Everybody wants a top 4 defenseman. Part of the reason Trouba's been out there for so long for Winnipeg is because they're demanding a top 2 back. They're basically saying, well, look, we think Trouba's a top 2 defenseman, so we want a top 2 back. A 1-for-1. There isn't anybody who's willing to give up one of their top 2 defensemen for Jacob Trouba right now. Trouba has not proven himself worthy of that position. So, that being said, as the camera goes white again, fixed it. You have to kind of push on it. If you have a Logitech 270 and it starts to do this, you have to kind of just give the finger, and then that fixes it. Temporarily. I am going to get a new webcam. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you're just browsing through and you're like, well, that wasn't very much. Well, there's lots of stuff on this channel, lots of content. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And this is where you guys can let your fantasy trades just take over. Who do you think's available? Who do you think they get? What, like Brodeen out of Minnesota, maybe, kind of thing. Like, who would they get? And what did they give up to get it? Because part of the problem is Montreal, they're off to this great start and they're playing really well. I don't know that they have the organizational depth to acquire a top 4 defenseman. Because you have to give something up, and that has to be something big. And the number 1 draft pick doesn't seem like a big deal this year because it's not a great draft, and you're up in the standings. But Montreal was up in the standings at this point last year too, and that number 1 draft pick turned out to be Sergachev last year. So you don't necessarily want this year's number 1 to go, so early, because what if this is just a hot start and things fall apart? I mean, I know Carey Price is playing great. Montreal's playing great hockey. Shea Weber's fantastic. He looks like he wants the Norris this year. He could win it. He's definitely the runaway winner right now. If the Norris Trophy was being awarded, he'd win it. Despite the analytics gods not liking it very much. But, yeah. What did they give up? And what did they get? So, opinions welcome. Thanks for watching, and I'll be talking to you all again real soon. It is the Buffalo history today. maybe post it a little later tonight. And I also have the predictions for tonight's games to do. That'll get done pretty quick. Yvonne's coming over, but I'm going to make sure I do that before we head out. And yeah, and last night's also I want to mention while I'm doing this. Last night's stream was fun, and yeah, I'm grateful to those who participated. And I will start scheduling these streams so that you guys will get notifications that there's going to be a stream. So you don't come in, the day after, 2 days after, and go, oh, geez, I missed it. So I'm going to try to fix that part of it too. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to y'all again soon.